G'day guys and welcome back to Jans_Gaming for another Dokkan Battle video. So today's video, as we do with all new units that do drop, we're jumping into a team building guide. This one's obviously for the new STR Final Form Cooler. So yeah, if you do want to keep up with all the team building guides I'm dropping, don't forget to like and subscribe. But straight on into this, we look at the details and teams. We've got movie bosses, transformation boost, final trump card, terrifying conquerors, target Goku, space traveling warriors, planetary destruction, and wicked bloodline. So quite a few decent teams in there, and I will say that Cooler does lead the movie bosses and terrifying conquerors category while providing a 30% boost to the transformation boost category. So looking at links, we've got Metamorphosis, Big Bad Bosses, Universe's Most Malevolent, Strongest Clan in Space, Thirst for Conquest, Fierce Battle, and Legendary Payola. So a very common link set for a lot of these movie boss units. As you can see here, we do share 6 links with a couple units. So we've got the Tech Transforming Frieza. I believe he shares 6 links for the first 3 stages. So definitely a solid option there. We've got the STR Prime Battle Frieza as well. He's certainly aged out a bit, but for free-to-play players that might have got lucky on Cooler, he could definitely be a good option. And then we also have the STR Cooler, who will hopefully, fingers crossed, get his easy aim part 2, but he's probably still runnable. For the 5 links, we've got the STR Full Power Frieza and the AGL Full Power Frieza. The STR being having their Easy A announced and their details released, so could be a solid rotation there. And then we've also got the 2 Final Form Freezers that aren't particularly good unless they're going to get an Easy A at some point. With 4 links, we've got the AGL Golden Frieza, AGL Baby Vegeta, STR Turles team, Janemba, who's going to be definitely a prominent rotation piece with this cooler, the STR Mecha Frieza and King Cold, and the Golden Frieza for the JP side of the game. Continue on, just because I couldn't fit them on one page, we've also got 4 links with Buhan, the Int Third Form Frieza, the Kuliza, STR Kuliza, who is a Wicked Bloodline support, so he's definitely a unit worth watching, and the AGL Metal Cooler, who could also be in line for an Easy A during the second part of the celebration. And finally, we've got the support Garlic Jr. So then we jump down to 3 links. You've got the Int Frieza, Int Metal Cooler Army, Physical Frieza, the Angel Frieza that can go golden. Got STR Janemba, Physical Buhan before he does transform. You got the STR Kid Buu and AGL Turles, who recently got his Easy A on Global as well. So a few good options there. And we continue on with the Tech Cooler. He's only just gotten his awakening, but he looks like he will certainly be getting an Easy A in part 2. So he could become a really good partner alongside this cooler as well. You got the Tech Golden Frieza, the Int free-to-play Int Frieza, the Tech Janemba, and the STR Bojack as well. So first team build we're going to jump into is the movie bosses. Now Cooler does lead that, as I did mention, so very, very strong team that you would be able to run here. I'm looking at rotations of the STR Final Form Cooler with probably the physical Janemba and then also the STR Cooler, because you're obviously going to be bringing a friend as well. Or you could even swap out the STR Cooler to float him and bring the Tech Transforming Frieza as a rotation piece if the content is a little bit more difficult. That is going to allow you to have 2 potential supports as floaters with Turles in the Tech Janemba, assuming you do. You can get all the orbs with Tech Janemba, and then, yeah, Cooler could be floating as well. So definitely going to be some strong rotations there. The Final Form Cooler can put out some huge offensive numbers, so bringing support alongside him is definitely going to be very helpful, and units like Janemba and AGL tours who are able to super before they get hit are really going to benefit from being slot 2 or 3 units there. Could also use physical Janemba in slot 2 to build him up as well. So yeah, definitely a pretty good team there. Second is the Terrifying Conquerors. So again, you've got the STR Final Form Cooler as your main rotation piece. I'd run him alongside the full power freezer, and then you're probably going to have to run him alongside the tech transforming freezer. You could always bring the STR full power freezer as well. Swap him in instead of to be a rotation piece, and then you wouldn't have to worry about him not linking up with the AGL full power freezer. And then again, I'm really strong on the floating units being quality supports or orb changes, and we'd certainly be getting that with the 2 base form coolers, and then Coolizer. Coolizer and the tech base form cooler both stack defense as well, so you could use them on rotation throughout periods of the fight to build them up. Definitely can be a crazy team here, and especially depending on what does release in part 2. And then finally, the last team build we'll have a look at is a Wicked Bloodline team. Now this is under the presumption that the AGL Metal Cooler does get his EZA in part 2, and does bring that leader skill back into, I guess, relevancy. So you'd be running AGL Cooler, Metal Cooler as one of your key rotation pieces. I mean, as your leader, probably not as a key rotation piece, I mean. So bringing, again, Final Form Coolers, money rotation pieces. You could have him running alongside the STR full power freezer, and I should also add, this does depend on how good the AGL Metal Cooler would end up being. As the other rotation piece, you could run the AGL Golden Freezer slot 1, Coolizer. Probably you'd prefer to float, so you could run the Prime Battle Freezer in slot 2. Again, you could. I did try to sort of change this up for different units, but full power AGL Freezer would be an amazing option. You could bring him and run him on rotation on this team. But I just didn't want to be copying and pasting pretty much the same team build that I did have before. So utilizing him, Golden Freezer is going to be a great slot 1 unit. Coolizer you'd probably prefer floating with his support, but if not, as I mentioned before, he is a defensive stacker, so being able to have him in there supporting while also stacking does give a lot of utility to the team. And then we'll have to wait and see what the AGL Metal Cooler could potentially look like. So there's 3 team builds for you guys and a lot of linking partners listed, so let me know down below what team you're looking forward to running Cooler on. Hopefully your summons go well for him. So thank you all for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe if you want to keep up with the content, and hopefully I'll catch you all on the next video.